TLC used to mean the Learning Channel. It started with documentaries and educational shows. But over time, something changed. The lessons stopped, and the shock value took over. Strange families, extreme bodies, uncomfortable lives turned into entertainment. And slowly, we stopped asking why this was on TV, because we couldn't stop watching. But beneath the odd titles and awkward laughter is something much darker. A network built on pain, obsession, and emotional breakdowns, all disguised as reality shows. This is the most horrible TLC psychological iceberg, a slow fall from weird curiosity into something you were never meant to see. Level 1. Weird but harmless. My strange addiction. At first, this show felt like a joke. People addicted to eating toilet paper, drinking gasoline, or sleeping with hair dryers. It was strange, loud, and easy to laugh at. That was the hook. But underneath the shock was something quieter and more painful. Most of these people weren't just being weird. Many struggled with deep anxiety, trauma, or obsessive behaviors. The show didn't explore where their pain came from. It just turned it into a spectacle. For viewers, the laughter often turned into guilt. You start watching for fun and end up feeling like you just witnessed someone's cry for help packaged as entertainment. The scariest part? These people needed care, but what they got was a camera and millions of eyes. And if watching untreated mental illness dressed up as a punchline feels uncomfortable, wait until you see what happens when TLC turns medical emergencies into a form of reality TV. Level 2. Medical voyeurism. My 600-pound life. This show follows people who weigh over 600 pounds. They're not just struggling with food, they're often fighting through grief, abuse, depression, and isolation. The goal is to get life-saving surgery, but the journey is long, painful, and deeply personal. Instead of focusing on healing, the show often zooms in on the hardest parts: binge eating, family fights, or people breaking down. It becomes a kind of emotional roller coaster, and viewers are invited to watch every drop. Some feel inspired, others feel uncomfortable. You're watching someone fight for their life, but through a lens that sometimes feels too close, too cold. The real question isn't about weight. It's about how society looks at people who don't fit. Are we offering help or just staring? And if that emotional tension feels heavy, it gets even more disturbing when the spotlight is turned on children long before they understand what it means to be watched. Level 3. Children in the spotlight. Toddlers and tiaras. Tiny hands, fake lashes, heavy makeup. What looked like a fun peek into children's beauty pageants slowly turned into something much darker. Toddlers and tiaras followed young girls, some as young as 3, as they were trained, dressed, and judged in competitions that seemed more about adult approval than child joy. They wore fake teeth, high heels, and tight clothes. But it wasn't just about the outfits. It was about pressure. Kids were pushed to perform, while parents cried, screamed, and even competed with each other. The show claimed to be a window into a unique world, but behind the glitter was something painful. These children were learning early that love could depend on how they looked and how well they won. For many viewers, what started as entertainment began to feel like exploitation. Some contestants, like Honey Boo Boo, became household names, but fame came at a price. Instead of growing up quietly, they were shaped by the spotlight. Their identities became performances, something sold to the world before they had a chance to understand it. And that's where the deeper damage begins. Because when cameras follow you from childhood, who are you when they finally stop? Let's move into a darker space now, where people start to lose not just privacy, but their entire sense of self. Level 4. Identity and isolation. I Am Jazz. At first, I'm Jazz looked like progress, a reality show about Jazz Jennings, a transgender teen sharing her story of the world. We saw her family support her school challenges, her surgeries. On the surface, it was about visibility, but beneath that was something harder to watch, something heavier. Jazz was just a child when the cameras started rolling. Every moment of her growth, her changing body, her mental health, her identity struggles became a public conversation. Not just support, but hate followed. Death threats, internet mockery, a nonstop wave of opinions about her life. In later seasons, Jazz opened up about depression, binge eating, and the pressure she felt to represent something bigger than herself. The more she tried to stay strong, the more it seemed like the weight of fame was crushing her from the inside. That's the dark side of identity on display. When your life becomes a symbol, there's no room to fall apart. You start losing the right to be human. And once that line is crossed, it's hard to find your way back. Because when a child is put in the spotlight too long, it's not just their privacy that fades, it's their sense of safety, their sense of self. And sometimes people responsible for protecting that child are the ones pointing the camera. Now we descend into something even more painful, when family love turns into pressure and parenting becomes control. Level 5, dangerous parenting. Breaking Amish. At first, breaking Amish looked like freedom. Young adults leave behind strict Amish or Mennonite lives to discover the outside world. But what started as a story about self-discovery quickly turned into something darker. Behind the scenes, many cast members said their experiences weren't real or safe. Some admitted they'd already left their communities long before filming. Others claimed they were isolated during production, pushed to act out dramatic scenes, and edited in ways that made them look unstable or cruel. These weren't just reality moments. They were carefully shaped narratives built for shock value, even if it meant exposing deep religious trauma or family rejection. The pressure to perform, to confess, to break down on cue, it turned a personal crisis into public entertainment. And for people raised in strict faith systems, leaving is already terrifying. You lose your family, your identity, your safety net. Breaking Amish took that fear and used it to make television. This wasn't about exploring new lives. It was about watching people fall apart, just far enough to keep the audience hooked. And once producers realize suffering gets views, they don't stop filming. They dig deeper. Let's move to a level where pain becomes a cage and the cameras never leave. Welcome to the world of trapped lives on camera. Level 6, trapped lives on camera. The man with the 132-pound scrotum. This 1-hour TLC special became a viral sensation, but for all the wrong reasons. It followed a man suffering from a rare medical condition that made even simple things, walking, sitting, using the bathroom, nearly impossible. The tone pretended to be sympathetic, but everything about the presentation felt invasive. The way the camera lingered, the way the narration danced between pity and curiosity. It was like watching a modern-day sideshow, repackaged as medical interest. And that's what made it so disturbing. The man's pain was real. His condition was debilitating, and the way it was filmed and marketed made viewers feel complicit. It wasn't just about seeing someone suffer. It was about staring at it. Some who watched said they felt sick, not because of what they saw, but because of how they were made to see it. There was no privacy, no protection, just pain on display, dressed up as entertainment. It wasn't a documentary. It was a spectacle. And in that, it became something much darker, a cage where suffering became the storyline and healing was never the goal. But when exploitation becomes a pattern, not just in one show, but across a network, the line between pain and profit disappears. And what's left? A system that breaks people, rebuilds them for ratings, and calls it television. Let's go deeper into the final level, where human lives fall apart for good. Level 7, broken people, broken systems. Gypsy Sisters. This reality show followed a tight-knit group of Romani women capturing their daily lives, fights, family struggles, and explosive drama. At first, it looked like just another wild TLC series, but underneath the shouting and chaos, something much darker was happening. The show didn't just highlight conflict, it fed on it. The more the women screamed, the more the cameras stayed rolling. Viewers were drawn in by the spectacle, not realizing they were watching cycles of trauma play out on screen. Poverty, cultural stereotypes, emotional abuse, all served up as entertainment. As the series went on, things unraveled. One cast member was arrested for serious crimes. Another died under tragic circumstances. But none of that stopped the network from pushing more episodes. Real people were falling apart, and it was being packaged like a guilty pleasure. This wasn't just reality TV anymore. It became a machine, one that took unstable lives and turned them into content, no matter the long-term damage. What made it worse was how normal it all started to feel. The yelling, the tears, the breakdowns. We accepted it because we were used to it. And in doing so, the show revealed something deeply unsettling. Sometimes the system doesn't fail people, it uses them until there's nothing left. TLC began as the learning channel, but along the way, it stopped teaching and started profiting from pain. What's most disturbing about these shows isn't just what's filmed, it's what we're willing to watch. Episodes built on trauma, storylines shaped by suffering, real lives pushed to the edge just to keep us entertained. And maybe that's the hardest truth of all. It wasn't just the network. It wasn't just the producers. It was us. We tuned in. We kept watching. We made it a hit. And somewhere in all that noise, we forgot these were real people living through very real pain.
My next step is gonna be...
And the cameras never stopped.